This is the Transformers Generations Primors Trilogy Decepticon Blastoff. The figure is part of a series of Amazon.com exclusive Transformers Primors figures. He is the first of 3 figures, deluxe class figures. He is from the Combiner Wars portion of the trilogy, and it's an open flap box, as you can see. You know, Hasbro released a Blastoff that transformed into a jet. And as if you're a big fan of G1, you know that Blastoff did not transform into a jet. He transformed into a space shuttle. The Takara Tomy version, the Unite Warriors, made Blastoff into a space shuttle. And this is Hasbro's way of catching up and giving us a Blastoff. I mean, why didn't they just do this in the first place? Was it the budget constraint or anything like that? I have no idea. Anyway, that's why he comes with a fist foot accessory. You can use him to form Bruticus. He's got a pistol, and he comes with a Prime Master, Megatronus. And here is Blastoff out of packaging, and he's looking very, very nice. I love the color scheme on this one. I mean, the dark brown, purple, this is how Blastoff should look like. And he comes with Megatronus. This is a repaint of the Megatronus figure that we've gotten previously. The Prime Master Megatronus. I'll give you a close-up look on that. I still like the older version, but this one has a clear sort of Prime Master alt mode. And this one, I like the red one better, actually. But in robot mode, I'm kind of partial with the previous version. But they both look good. So if you missed out on this one, there's another chance to get a Megatronus. So, on to Blastoff. Comes with a nice glossy instruction manual. Very nice. And here he is. It's a heck of a lot better than the Combiner Wars Blastoff that we got to form Bruticus. That was a jet. That was a repaint of Firefly, and or Slingshot, whatever. But this is the more accurate one. He's a space shuttle, and I kind of like how he looks, because if you remember back in G1, if you watch the cartoons, he looks like this, and the light is catching it, but. Yeah, he's a dark. He was dark brown with some purple highlights and a little bit of blue instead of black. That was his color. That was his Bruticus. And when he combined with Bruticus and the rest of the combaticons, this was Blastoff. And the toy, it looks kind of like the G1 toy that Hasbro released back in the 80s, and I'm really liking it. This is the Unite Warriors version. We'll talk about that later. But just to show you the color comparison, between the two, the Prime Wars Trilogy Hasbro version looks to be more accurate as a Blastoff figure. This one is a little bit too light. This might look more like the Takara Tomy version. I don't know. I don't have any of those G1 figures to compare them to, but suffice to say, I'm really liking the Hasbro version. Okay, so the Bruticus does come with a Combiner War part, which is roughly the same as the one we've had with the other Blastoff figure, and I don't have that one, so I don't have a way to compare it, but it looks like it based on the sculpt and color scheme. It also comes with a blaster. I like this blaster. It's a nice little blaster akin to his G1 blaster. This is the blaster for the Unite Warriors. Here you go. This one is more monochrome. I mean, one color. This one's been painted black, and I like this one. I actually like this one better than the Takara Tomy version. So, the main difference is really, if you're You're thinking that they're two different figures. They're actually the same figure, but what they did was Hasbro inverted this blast-off figure. Instead of having this one as the chest, like that, they've swapped the arms. You can easily pop off the arms, I suppose. They're on ball joints, and swap them with each other to make it look more like this one. But this is the intent of Hasbro. They wanted to paint the chest purple to make it look like the G1 version. This one is unpainted, and I think it kind of works. I think this one works better. The only problem with this one is that when you transform him into his alt mode, the space shuttle alt mode, which we'll see later, the arms don't fold up on the side the way this one does. It's not as flush. It's going to be a little bit awkward. When it still works, but it doesn't tab in. It's not as flush as this one, which I will show you in a while. Okay, so let's just get a very good look at the details of this figure. I love the all black painted face sculpt. This is so G1. Not to take anything away from the Unite Warriors version, but I do like this one. The homage to the 80s blast-off is just uncanny. I like it. You get more of the brown color. There's a more unified look to it. The purple paint is where it should be, like the blasters are black versus this one that are purple everywhere. It's a lot less gaudy and tacky. I like how everything just is sort of like unified in that blast-off color scheme. So a lot of glossy paint applications on this one. The black paint apps are glossy, and I like that. I mean, it's not metallic, but I do like it. Articulation for the figure is entirely the same as the Unite Warriors version. You got a ball jointed neck, goes up and down because of transformation, ball jointed shoulders, bicep swivel, double jointed single jointed elbows. Sorry, it just looks like double jointed because they fold all the way up there. It's got that waist swivel, very tight. That very loose ball jointed hips for some reason. Maybe it's mold degradation, I don't know. Thigh swivel, hinge knees that go all the way there, and some foot articulation, rocker pivot. Do it that way because of transformation. Okay, so let's transform Blast Off. Very simple, since he's already turned around. No need to rotate the waist. Go ahead and fold these. I love that he looks more premium than the Takara Tomy version. Okay, so just stab everything in. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, and here is wait, let me just do this. Okay, the transformation of the arms. The way you should do it is really this way, and tab those pegs, those inner pegs right there. This is the logical way to do it. Right, that's how you should do it. And then rotate just tab in the nose cone of the space shuttle right there, and that's if you want a tight transformation into alt mode and everything's flush and clicks properly, that's how you should do it. But the instructions say you can't have those empty bits right there. It's to do it this way, and this is what I was talking about earlier. There's an improper transformation, and simply because they've swapped the shoulders, they swapped the whole the arm assemblies with each other so that you can have them correctly when he's facing backwards. And this is the proper way of this is the official way to transform him, and you'll have the pegs outside. It's not that bad. I mean, it's not a big deal since the joint is fairly tight and it's not going to fly off anywhere. So I guess you could do that. And obviously you can put the weapons here or underneath the wings, and the gun can fit there and whatever, just like any Combiner Wars figure. And yeah, landing gear is molded in, so there's no other landing gear. And yeah, this is Blast Off in Space Shuttle alt mode, and it looks great. It looks a lot like the G1 version, as I was saying in robot mode as well. And this is the G1 Blast Off. It looks more like the G1 version more than the Takara Tomy version. This is the Takara Tomy version, and you can see how much stark different the colors are, and I really want to commend Hasbro for giving a more accurate version of Blastoff. But nevertheless, take nothing away from the Unite Warriors Blastoff. I am a big fan of the colors. I mean, despite it being caramel and purple yam. So caramel and purple yam with dark chocolate, it works for me. This one, bronze sort of beige with the glossy black and wisteria colors. Oh, wow, this is G1 Blastoff. So really impressed with the way Hasbro's handled this one, and I honestly did not think I was gonna like it, and I'm very pleased. Even the thrusters, as I was saying, it's a more homogeneous color palette on the Hasbro version than on the Takara Tomy version. So well done. Okay, so let's get him into his arm mode, since he is Blastoff, and traditionally Blastoff is the right arm of Bruticus. Let's get right to it. Go ahead and rotate the head. Do it this way, and that way, here. And again, because it's inverted, it's not going to be a flush transformation. Yeah, this part of the shoulder is going to be hindering the forearms when they fold up, so can't win them all. You get a good aesthetic, but functionally, or the transformation engineering will have to suffer. Okay, a little bit. I mean, it's not a deal breaker or anything like that. I don't think it is, but I don't honestly, you know what, I don't really know how they could have improved it without remolding the pieces, because they were trying to save money on this one because of the existing mold that Takara Tomy, that they already made with Takara Tomy. They share the same factory and design, manufacturing, so they were trying. I totally get it where they're coming from. They're trying to maximize that mold, and they had the mold was neither here nor there for the price point for deluxe class figures for the US, I suppose, US market, and they had to price it a little bit, because here this costs the price of a Voyager here in Manila, and to justify that price it had to be a special issue, and I guess that's how they did it. They justified it. Okay, so this is arm mode. So now let's see how this new Blastoff fits with the Bruticus combined mode. This is the Unite Warriors Bruticus. This is the Takara Tomy version, obviously with the upgrade kits from upgrade pieces from Perfect Effect or Perfect Combiner. I changed the arms, and the feet have been swapped out. That's why he's a little bit taller, with the guns and the new head sculpt. You've already seen this in another review, so I'm not going to focus too much on it. What I will try and show you is how the new Blastoff fares with this combined mode. So let me see. Okay, I can just, okay. So he looks okay. I mean, he's not terrible. The colors are certainly clashing because it's a different beige, and you know, this, I still prefer my the Unite Warriors Blastoff, obviously, because, well, for obvious reasons, the colors do match better with this version because of the caramel, the caramel beige that Onslaught is sporting with, with again, purple yam and metallic purple yam and caramel beige. It just makes good sense to keep this one for the Unite Warriors Bruticus. However, if you did have the Hasbro version of Bruticus, I am perfectly sure that this version of Blastoff will fit nicely, because it shares the same color with the Fireflight repaint, and it's a great color for that Bruticus. And You know what? Just looking at it right now, if I did not have this, I would totally accept this one as the blast off arm, and it looks great. I mean, that's how he was in the comic, in the cartoons. He was a dark, bronzy type of brownish beige that was the right arm of Bruticus, and I really, really liked it. I really enjoyed it. So well done, Hasbro. I cannot praise this figure enough. I mean, if you're second thoughts about Blastoff, even if you do have the Unite Warriors version of Bruticus, he fits in nicely with them. He will definitely, if you've never had Unite Warriors and you're stuck with the Hasbro Combiner Wars Bruticus and you're stuck with the first version of Blastoff, this is a no-brainer. You have got to pick up this figure to complete your Bruticus set. I absolutely love it, except for the slight, it's unavoidable change in the engineering. The figure is going to get a 9 out of 10 from me. A 9.5 out of 10, I should say. It is very near a perfect figure. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I like the figure. I think it's a great one, and it's a little bit pricey, but I think it's well worth the price of admission. So, hope you've enjoyed this little video review. This has been the Transformers Generations from the Prime Wars Trilogy, the Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Blast Off. Thanks for watching.